Everyone says next year will be my year, but life is quietly asking you one question. What will you do differently this time? My dear friends, as this year comes to an end, many of you are standing at a crossroads. Behind you are unfinished goals, broken promises to yourself, lessons that were painful but necessary. Ahead of you is 2026, clean, silent, and waiting. Hope is rising in your heart. But let me tell you something gently and honestly. Hope without action is just a beautiful illusion. If 2026 is truly going to be your year, it won't happen because the calendar changes. It will happen because you change. Very often, the first thing people do when a new year approaches is talk. They talk about plans, they talk about dreams, they talk about how this time everything will change. But let me tell you something gently, something honest. Life does not listen to announcements. Life responds to embodiment. You don't become disciplined by declaring it. You don't become focused by posting about it. You don't become successful by convincing others that you will be. Real growth is silent. Think about a seed. Before it becomes a tree, it disappears into darkness. No applause, no validation, only patience, pressure, and persistence. In the same way, if 2026 is meant to transform your life, the work will happen when nobody is clapping for you. Many people are addicted to the feeling of progress instead of the process of progress. They love the excitement of saying, I'm starting something new. But they don't love waking up early when it's cold. They don't love saying no to distractions. They don't love staying consistent when results are invisible. And that is where most dreams quietly die. My dear friends, understand this deeply. Talking creates comfort, action creates change. When you announce your goals too early, your mind receives a false sense of achievement. You feel accomplished without doing the work. That emotional reward steals the hunger needed for real effort. That is why the wisest people work quietly. They let results speak. Instead of telling the world what you will do in 2026, tell your alarm clock, tell your habits, tell your discipline. Let your routine know your intentions. Become so focused on becoming better that you don't have time to explain yourself. Remember, confidence doesn't come from words, it comes from evidence, from showing up again and again, from keeping promises you made only to yourself. There is a deep kind of self-respect that forms when you stop seeking validation and start seeking alignment. Alignment between who you say you are and how you live. And when that alignment happens, something beautiful occurs. You stop trying to impress people, you start trying to improve yourself. People who are truly growing don't need to announce it. Their energy changes, their focus sharpens, their excuses disappear. You can hear determination in their silence. So as you step into this new year, ask yourself one powerful question: am I more committed to being seen or to becoming better? If 2026 is your year, it won't be because people heard about your plans. It will be because they felt the impact of your actions. Because consistency replaced conversation. Because effort replaced explanation. Stop telling people what you're about to do. Let them notice. And one day, without saying a word, your life will answer for you. Most people wait to feel ready before they act. They wait for motivation. They wait for inspiration. They wait for confidence to magically appear. But life doesn't work that way. Motivation is like the weather. Some days it's sunny. Some days it disappears without warning. If your progress depends on how you feel, your life will remain unstable. Discipline, on the other hand, is different. Discipline is not loud. It is not exciting, but it is loyal. Discipline shows up even when motivation is asleep. Every meaningful life is built on invisible choices. Choices that no one celebrates. Choices that feel boring. Choices that feel uncomfortable. Waking up early when your body wants comfort. turning down distractions when pleasure is easily available, doing the right thing when no one is forcing you. That is discipline, and discipline is nothing but self respect in action. Many people misunderstand discipline. They think it means suffering, they think it means restriction, they think it means losing freedom. But true discipline does the opposite, it creates freedom. When you are disciplined with your time, you are free from last minute panic. When you are disciplined with your health, you are free from regret and dependency. When you are disciplined with your finances, you are free from fear. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. The problem is the present moment is very persuasive. Comfort whispers softly. Excuses sound reasonable. Procrastination feels harmless. Just one more episode, just one more scroll, just one more day. And slowly, without realizing it, weeks pass, months pass, another year passes, and you are left wondering why life didn't change. Life didn't change because your choices didn't. In 2026, understand this clearly. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. What you do daily matters more than what you dream occasionally. Discipline is built in small moments when no one is watching, when quitting would be easy. It's built when you say, I'll do it anyway. Anyway, I feel tired. Anyway, I feel bored. Anyway, I feel uncertain. Because discipline is not about feelings. It is about direction. Your feelings will change. Your purpose must not. There will be days in 2026 when you question yourself, when progress feels slow, when effort feels unnoticed. That is when discipline becomes sacred. It becomes a quiet prayer that says, I trust the process even when I don't see the results. And slowly something shifts inside you. You begin to rely less on external motivation. You become internally anchored. You stop negotiating with your weaknesses. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You act because that is who you are becoming. Discipline shapes identity. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen your belief in yourself. And that belief becomes unshakable confidence, not the loud kind, the calm kind, the kind that doesn't panic when things go wrong, the kind that doesn't quit when things get hard. So if 2026 is truly your year, don't pray only for motivation, pray for discipline, because motivation will start the journey, but discipline will finish it. And when your future finally arrives, you will look back and realize the greatest gift you gave yourself was choosing discipline over comfort again and again, one ordinary day at a time. There is a kind of pain everyone wants to avoid. The pain of effort, the pain of discipline, the pain of doing what is necessary instead of what is easy. And then there is another kind of pain people don't talk about enough. The pain of regret, the pain of knowing you could have done more, but didn't, the pain of watching time pass while your potential stays untouched. One pain strengthens you, the other slowly breaks you. Yet most people choose the second one without realizing it. They say, I want change, but they avoid discomfort at all costs. They avoid hard conversations. They avoid honest self-reflection. They avoid effort that stretches them, and then they wonder why life feels stuck. My dear friends, growth has never been comfortable. If it were, everyone would be extraordinary. Think about every meaningful transformation you've ever seen. Physical strength comes from tearing muscle fibers. Emotional maturity comes from heartbreak and reflection. Spiritual depth comes from surrender and humility. Nothing grows without friction. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is a teacher. But here is the mistake many people make. They think avoiding pain will protect them. In reality, avoidance only delays the lesson and increases the cost. When you avoid the pain of discipline, you inherit the pain of disorder. When you avoid the pain of honesty, you inherit the pain of broken relationships. When you avoid the pain of effort, you inherit the pain of stagnation. Life always collects its dues, either upfront or with interest later. In 2026, if you want real change, You must stop asking, how can I stay comfortable, and start asking, what discomfort is worth it? There is meaningful pain and meaningless pain. Meaningful pain builds something, meaningless pain only drains you. Scrolling endlessly gives meaningless pain. Overthinking without action gives meaningless pain. Staying in the same place out of fear gives meaningless pain. But waking up early when it's hard, having the difficult conversation, saying no to distractions, staying consistent when motivation fades, that pain is meaningful. That pain has a purpose. Understand this deeply. The pain you avoid today will return tomorrow as regret. And regret is heavier than effort. Effort tires the body. Regret crushes the soul. Many people say, I'll start when it feels easier, but it never feels easier. You don't wait for courage to act. You act and courage follows. Discomfort is not a sign you're doing something wrong. It's often a sign you're doing something right. When you step out of your comfort zone, your mind panics, your ego resists, your old habits fight back. That resistance is proof that change is happening. If you feel uncomfortable, it means your old self is losing control, and that is a good thing. The strongest people you admire are not those who avoided pain. They are those who learned how to walk through it without quitting. They didn't numb themselves. They didn't distract themselves. They faced discomfort with awareness and faith. They said, this hurts, but it's shaping me. In 2026, don't run from discomfort. Sit with it. Learn from it. Let it refine you. Pain handled with awareness becomes wisdom, but pain avoided becomes patterns. The choice is always yours. You can choose the pain of staying the same or the pain of becoming better. One keeps you trapped, the other sets you free. So when things feel hard, don't panic, don't quit, don't assume something is wrong. Pause and remind yourself, this is what growth feels like. And keep moving forward, because the life you want is always waiting on the other side of the pain you've been avoiding. Most people believe that transformation happens in big moments, a dramatic decision, a powerful breakthrough, a sudden burst of inspiration, but real change is far quieter than that. Life is not changed by one heroic effort. Life is changed by small actions repeated faithfully. Consistency is not glamorous. It doesn't give instant results. It doesn't make a good story in the beginning, but it always works. Think about water dripping on stone. One drop does nothing, 10 drops do nothing. But over time, the stone changes shape, not because the water was powerful, but because it was persistent. This is where most people get confused. They wait for intensity, they wait for excitement, they wait for the moment when they feel unstoppable. And because that moment doesn't come often, they do nothing most of the time. In 2026, if you want a different life, stop asking for intensity, commit to consistency, let discipline every day beats a lot of discipline once in a while. Reading 10 pages daily will change your thinking. Walking daily will change your health. Saving small amounts consistently will change your security. Praying or reflecting daily will change your inner world. The mind underestimates small efforts, but life responds to repetition. Consistency is how trust is built. Trust yourself. Trust with others. Every time you show up when you said you would, you send a message to your mind, I can rely on myself. And self-trust is powerful. Many people lack confidence not because they are incapable, but because they have repeatedly broken promises to themselves. Consistency repairs that relationship. But let me be honest, consistency is boring. There are days when you will feel nothing. No excitement, no motivation, no visible progress. Those are the most important days. Because consistency is tested when results are invisible. Anyone can act when they feel inspired. Very few act when it feels ordinary. But life rewards the ordinary done faithfully. Inconsistency creates chaos, consistency creates calm. When you live inconsistently, your emotions control you, your schedule controls you, your circumstances control you. But when you live consistently, you begin to control your direction. You stop starting over, you stop apologizing to yourself, you stop waiting for perfect conditions, you simply show up, and slowly, quietly, your identity begins to shift. You no longer say, I'm trying, you say, this is who I am. Consistency turns effort into identity. That is the real transformation. You don't become successful in a year, you become the kind of person who cannot fail easily. That is far more powerful. So in 2026, don't aim for dramatic change. Aim for dependable change. Do the small things. Do them daily. Do them even when no one notices. Because one day people will ask, how did you change so much? And you will smile. Because you know the truth. It wasn't one big moment, it was hundreds of small ones. Quiet mornings, simple routines, unseen discipline, and that is how ordinary actions create extraordinary lives. At some point in life, you begin to realize a quiet truth. Not everyone around you is meant to walk with you forever. This realization doesn't come with drama, it comes with awareness. You notice how some conversations drain you, how some environments shrink your ambition, how some people make comfort feel normal and growth feel unnecessary. And slowly, without blaming anyone, you understand your surroundings are shaping you more than your intentions. Human beings are deeply influenced creatures. We absorb attitudes, habits, and beliefs from those we spend time with, not because we are weak, but because we are human. Energy transfers silently. If you sit among people who constantly complain, your gratitude weakens. If you stay around people who normalize excuses, your discipline softens. If you surround yourself with people who fear growth, your courage slowly fades, not suddenly, not dramatically, but subtly. That is the danger. Most people don't fail because they are incapable. They fail because their environment keeps pulling them back to who they used to be. My dear friends, upgrading your life often requires upgrading your circle. This does not mean becoming arrogant. It does not mean cutting people off in anger. It means becoming intentional. There is a big difference. Some people are meant to support your comfort. Others are meant to support your growth. If everyone around you agrees with everything you do, you are not being challenged, you are being maintained. Growth needs friction, growth needs honesty, growth needs people who love you enough to tell you the truth, not people who clap for your excuses. And OT people who encourage your laziness, but people who remind you of your potential when you forget it. Ask yourself honestly, after spending time with the people closest to me, do I feel inspired or drained? Do I feel clearer or confused? Do I feel stronger or smaller? Your answers are important. Sometimes the reason your goals feel heavy is because you are carrying other people's limitations along with you. And understand this carefully. When you start changing, not everyone will be comfortable with it. Some people will mock your discipline. Some will question your boundaries. Some will say, you've changed. And often they are right. You have changed. You are no longer available for chaos. You are no longer interested in wasting time. You are no longer willing to trade your future for momentary comfort. That kind of change makes insecure people uncomfortable. But growth is not betrayal. Growth is responsibility. You can love people and still outgrow certain dynamics. You can respect people and still choose distance. Sometimes distance is not rejection, it is protection. Protection of your focus, protection of your peace, protection of the life you are trying to build. In 2026, be very mindful of who has access to your time. Time is life, and life is sacred. Every conversation you entertain, Every environment you tolerate is shaping your mindset. Choose wisely. Spend time with people who are disciplined, not because they lecture you, but because their life inspires you. Spend time with people who are growing spiritually, not because they judge you, but because they ground you. Spend time with people who are working on themselves, because growth is contagious when it is genuine. And if you don't have such people around you yet, become that person. Your energy will attract your tribe. Sometimes life removes people not as punishment, but as preparation. Preparation F, or a version of you that needs a different environment to survive. So don't feel guilty for choosing growth. Don't feel selfish for choosing alignment. You are not obligated to remain the same just to keep others comfortable. If 2026 is your year, protect your circle, because the right people won't slow you down. They will remind you who you are meant to become. There comes a moment in life when achievement alone no longer satisfies you. You may reach goals, you may gain recognition, you may experience success, and yet something inside still feels empty. That emptiness is not failure. It is a signal that your life is asking for meaning, not just milestones. Human beings are not fulfilled by consumption alone. We are fulfilled by contribution. When life revolves only around me, my goals, my comfort, my success, the soul slowly becomes restless. Because the heart was never designed to live only for itself. The fastest way to feel lost is to make life only about personal gain. The fastest way to feel alive is to make life about service. Service doesn't always mean something dramatic. It doesn't require a stage or applause. Service begins with intention. Who am I becoming better for? Who benefits from my discipline? Who is uplifted by my growth? When your efforts are connected to something larger than your ego, suddenly waking up early feels meaningful. Staying consistent feels purposeful. Sacrifice feels sacred, because now your struggle is not just about you. Many people burn out not because they are doing too much, but because they are doing it without meaning. Success without service becomes exhausting. Achievement without contribution feels hollow. But when your work serves others, energy renews itself. You feel tired but not empty, challenged but not lost. Service gives direction to discipline. Think about it. A parent works tirelessly not because easy, but because love gives strength. In the same way, when your goals are fueled by service, your endurance multiplies. Life becomes less about proving something and more about giving something. And that shift changes everything. When you serve, you stop obsessing over comparison. You stop measuring your worth against others. You stop chasing validation. Because contribution is deeply personal. No one can take away the good you do. No one can compete with sincerity. Service grounds you in humility. It reminds you that you are part of something bigger. It softens arrogance. It heals entitlement. And most importantly, it keeps success from corrupting you. Because success without humility becomes dangerous, but success guided by service becomes a blessing. In 2026, don't ask only, what do I want to achieve? Ask, how can I be useful? Use your skills, use your experiences, use even your struggles. Your pain has trained you, your lessons have prepared you. What broke you once can heal someone else today. Service doesn't mean losing yourself, it means finding yourself beyond selfishness. And here is the beautiful paradox. The more you give, the fuller you become, not externally, internally. Peace grows, gratitude deepens, perspective expands. You stop feeling entitled to life, you start feeling grateful for it, and gratitude attracts grace. When life sees you using your blessings to bless others, it trusts you with more. Not always more money, not always more success, sometimes more strength, sometimes more wisdom, sometimes more peace, and those are far more valuable. Serving something bigger than yourself protects you during difficult seasons. When things don't go your way, service reminds you that your life still matters. Even on bad days, you can still make a difference, and that gives resilience. So, as you step into 2026, connect your ambition to compassion, Lynn, your goals to gratitude. Let your growth be useful, because a life devoted only to achievement may impress people, but a life devoted to service will fulfill your soul. And when your soul is fulfilled, perseverance becomes natural. There will be moments in 2026 when effort alone will not feel like enough. You will be doing the right things, showing up, staying disciplined, trying your best, and still, results may not come on time. That is where many people break. They say, I did everything right, so why is nothing working? This is the moment where faith becomes more than a word. It becomes your inner strength. Faith is not blind optimism. Faith is quiet. Trust. Trust that effort is never wasted. Trust that delays are not denials. Trust that life sees sincerity even when people don't. Faith is what allows you to keep walking. When the road makes no sense, many people misunderstand faith. They think faith means sitting back and waiting. True faith is very active. It says, I will do my part with excellence, and I will surrender what I cannot control. Faith turns anxiety into patience. It turns pressure into purpose. When you have faith, you stop forcing outcomes. You stop panicking over timelines. You stop measuring your worth by immediate results. You begin to move with steadiness instead of desperation. And desperation is exhausting. Faith gives you endurance. It reminds you that life is bigger than this one moment, that setbacks are shaping you, not stopping you, that even when doors close, guidance is happening. Sometimes protection looks like disappointment. If every plan worked immediately, you might never build resilience. You might never deepen humility. You might never learn patience. Faith teaches you to trust the process, even when the picture is incomplete. Think about it. If you could see the entire future, you would stop growing. Faith exists because growth requires uncertainty. And here is something very important to understand. Faith does not remove struggle. It gives struggle meaning. Without faith, hardship feels like punishment. With faith, hardship feels like preparation. Preparation for wisdom, preparation for strength, preparation for responsibility you are not ready for yet. In 2026, there will be moments when you question yourself, when doubts whisper, when comparisons tempt you. Faith gently reminds you, stay in your lane. Someone else's timeline is not your assignment. Someone else's success is not your failure. Your journey is personal. Your growth is sacred. Faith keeps your heart steady. When the world feels unstable, it allows you to say, I may not understand this now, but I trust that this season has purpose. That trust brings peace, and peace is power. When you are peaceful, you make better decisions. You react less emotionally. You remain grounded during chaos. Faith also keeps success from corrupting you. When things start going well, faith reminds you where your strength truly comes from. It replaces arrogance with gratitude. It replaces pride with humility. You stop saying, I did this alone. You start saying, I was guided. That mindset protects you because life is unpredictable. What rises quickly can fall quickly. Faith keeps you rooted. And when challenges return, and they always do, faith gives you courage to face them again. Not because you feel fearless, but because you feel supported. Faith whispers, you are not alone in this. That whisper is enough to keep going. In moments of exhaustion, faith becomes rest, not rest from effort, but rest from worry. You continue working, but you stop carrying the weight of outcomes on your shoulders. You learn to do your best and let go of the rest. That balance is wisdom. So as you walk into 2026, carry faith with you, not as an escape, but as a foundation. Let your actions be disciplined. Let your intentions be sincere. Let your heart be surrendered. Because when faith walks alongside effort, you don't just chase success, you become resilient enough to handle it. And one day, looking back, you will realize something beautiful. The moments that tested your faith were the moments that built your strength. The delays that frustrated you were shaping your character, and the uncertainty that scared you was guiding you toward a life stronger, wiser, and more meaningful than you ever planned. That is the power of faith. Not to make life easy, but to make you unbreakable. As everything comes together, there is one final truth I want you to sit with calmly, honestly, deeply. A truth that does not shout, a truth that waits for you to be quiet enough to hear it. A new year does not arrive with magic, it arrives with responsibility. 2026 will not ask you what you intended to do, it will only reflect what you consistently chose. At the end of the year, life will not measure your words, it will measure your habits. Not your motivation on January 1st, but your discipline on ordinary days. Not how strongly you believed once, but how faithfully you showed up again and again. Many people want change, but they secretly want it without inconvenience, without discomfort, without patience. But life does not work that way. Every meaningful blessing is wrapped in responsibility. Every answered prayer comes with effort attached. God gives opportunity, not entitlement. If you ask for strength, life gives you challenges. If you ask for wisdom, life gives you experiences. If you ask for growth, life gives you resistance. And if you ask for a better year, life gives you choices, daily choices, quiet choices, uncelebrated choices. That is where destiny is shaped. Understand this clearly, my dear friends. You don't rise suddenly one day. You rise slowly, silently, through alignment. Alignment between faith and effort. Alignment between values and actions. Alignment between who you want to be and how you live when no one is watching. 2026 does not need a new version of your promises. It needs a new version of your discipline. A discipline rooted in humility. A discipline guided by service. A discipline strengthened by faith. And remember this, don't let success make you proud, let it make you grateful. Gratitude keeps your heart soft. Even when your life becomes strong, pride isolates, gratitude connects. No matter how far you go, never forget where your strength truly comes from. Life is not about being perfect, it is about being sincere. Sincere effort, sincere growth, sincere faith. Some days you will fall short. Some days you will feel tired. Some days you will question yourself. That does not mean you are failing. It means you are human. What matters is that you don't quit on yourself. Progress is built by returning. Returning to discipline, returning to purpose, returning to faith. Even after you stumble, when things don't go your way, remember this gently. Even detours lead to destiny. Not every delay is a denial. Not every struggle is a setback. Some seasons are not meant to reward you. They are meant to prepare you. Prepare your character. Prepare your patience. Prepare your capacity to handle what is coming. Because blessings without maturity can destroy you. That is why life grows you before it gives you. So walk into 2026 with calm confidence. Not arrogance, not anxiety. Confidence rooted in effort. Confidence grounded in faith. Do your work sincerely. Serve where you can. Stay disciplined even when it's hard. Stay grateful even when it's slow. And trust this. Life is watching your consistency, not your declarations. If you stay aligned, if you stay humble, if you stay faithful to the process, one day you won't need to say, "This was my year." Your life will quietly prove it. Let me leave you with one timeless truth, simple but powerful. Life does not reward intentions. Life responds to sincerity. God does not ask you to be extraordinary in one day. He asks you to be faithful in small things every day. When you wake up and choose discipline over comfort, when you choose honesty over convenience, when you choose service over ego, you are already walking in the right direction. Do your part with full heart. Leave the rest with faith. Because when effort is sincere and faith is steady, nothing is ever wasted. Not your struggle, not your patience, not your tears. Every quiet step you take today is preparing the ground for tomorrow's blessings. So walk into your future without fear. Stay humble when things go well. Stay faithful when things move slowly. And remember this always: you don't need life to prove itself to you. You need to prove your sincerity to life. If you do that at the right time, in the right way, life will answer.